What if I told you that all your life, you have been trying to make withdrawals from the wrong bank? That you have stood in the cold, dark vestibule of fear, demanding riches from poverty and healing from disease, while the treasury of heaven stood unlocked before you, overflowing with divine supply? What if I told you that one word, spoken in faith, spoken in alignment with the eternal law, could shatter the prison walls of lack and open to you the storehouse of infinite substance? For in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and that same Word, when spoken through your lips, with the fire of faith, still carries the original creative force that hung the stars in their sockets and called light out of the darkness. Your tongue is the rudder of your destiny, your speech is the wand of your manifestation. By your idle words you are condemned, and by your quickened word you are redeemed. The world you see is but the picture gallery of the words you have spoken in secret and in the open. Change the word, and you change the world. So I ask you, what are the words you have been sowing into the soil of your life? Words of fear or words of faith? Words of bondage or words of liberty? Words of poverty or words of plenty? For the harvest is sure, and the law never sleeps. And now, beloved seeker, lean closer, for I am about to reveal to you the ancient secret. How to speak the word in the temple, how to release the divine decree in the sanctuary of faith, and watch wealth rush in as naturally as rivers run to the sea. But I must warn you, this is not a shallow promise, nor a child's fable. This is divine law. It is the eternal principle that shaped the destiny of Edison in his long nights of trial, that guided Carnegie when steel bent the world to his dream, that lifted Walt Disney from ridicule to empire. It is the same word too. Hat prophets thundered, mystics whispered, and Christ declared with authority, "Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you." So take heed. Watch every syllable that escapes your lips, for you are either pronouncing your liberation or signing your bondage. And if you dare, if you are ready to trade fear for faith, lack for abundance, and doubt for dominion, then stay with me to the end, for I will not speak theory, but revelation. For the spoken word is the key, and tonight, as you listen with the ears of spirit, heaven itself bends low to deliver its riches into your hands. Beloved soul, the universe was never built upon confusion, but upon law. The stars do not stumble in their orbits, nor does the tide forget its rhythm. Every petal that opens and every seed that bursts into life obeys the divine law. And so it is with your destiny. It does not stagger by chance, nor crawl by accident. It is spoken into being by your word. The spoken word is the invisible architect of circumstance. You are not a beggar at the door of fate. You are the king's child, and the decree of your lips is law over your world. Scripture declares, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof." And so, if the fruit upon your tree is bitter, look not to the soil, nor curse the seasons. Look to the seed, the word you have planted. I have watched countless seekers stand in the pulpits of their own lives, crying, "I am poor, I am sick, I am alone." And like priests of fear, they have offered sacrifices upon the altar of lack, never knowing they were the high priests of their own bondage. They have spoken chains, and the chains obeyed, for the word is creative, whether spoken in ignorance or in faith. You must awaken, child of spirit. You must awaken to the might of the word upon your tongue. For your lips were not made to echo complaint, but to decree creation. Your voice was fashioned to call things that be not as though they were. You were meant to speak and watch mountains move, to decree and see it established unto you. Consider the great ones of history. Thomas Edison, mocked for his 1,000 failures, yet he spoke continually. "I have not failed. I have only found ways that do not work." That word, spoken again and again, lifted him above mockery into triumph, until the night itself bowed to his command and yielded the electric light. Andrew Carnegie, the lad who polished shoes in poverty, carried a word of steel in his heart. "I will create wealth for others, and wealth will return unto me." That decree lifted him from obscurity into an empire. Walt Disney, bankrupt, ridiculed, called a dreamer and a fool, yet his word was vision, and his vision spoke louder than his poverty. Today his dreams have circled the globe, proving that the word endures beyond the man who utters it. Do you see, beloved? The world bows to the decree of the steadfast tongue. Jesus himself stood before the tomb of Lazarus, where death had ruled for 4 days. He did not pray a weak prayer of begging. He did not murmur a hope. He cried with a loud voice, "Lazarus, come forth." And death, that ancient tyrant, trembled at the command and gave up its prisoner. That is the authority of the spoken word when it is aligned with the divine. The tragedy is not that men lack faith. The tragedy is that they misdirect their faith. They place faith in fear, and it delivers. They place faith in sickness, and it manifests. They place faith in lack, and lack multiplies. They are like farmers sowing thorn seed and then wailing at harvest. Yet the law makes no exceptions. The soil of the universe yields to every seed, whether of wheat or of weeds. Therefore, watch your words as a treasurer watches gold. Speak only that which you desire to see outpictured. Declare only the good, the true, the beautiful. Do not give voice to fear, for fear is faith inverted. Do not rehearse sickness, for each rehearsal engraves it deeper into your body. Do not echo lack, for every complaint withdraws substance from your invisible account. Instead, let your speech be the currency of heaven. Spend words of plenty, and plenty will come. Spend words of life, and life will spring forth. Spend words of victory, and victory will march to your aid. Hear me, your word is not an idle breath. It is a spark of divine fire. It is substance clothed in sound. It is law going forth to perform its mission. When you say, I am rich, heaven begins to marshal its forces to reveal riches. When you say, I walk in health, the body remembers its divine blueprint and obeys. When you say, I am guided, guarded, and supplied, angels hasten to confirm it. But when you say, I am afraid, or I am poor, or I can't, that same law fulfills your decree. Dr. Frank Crane once wrote that a man is what he thinks about all day long, but I tell you, a man is what he speaks all day long. For thought is the seed, but the word is the planting. Thought may linger in silence, but speech gives it wings and sets it in motion. Your silent fears may bruise you, but your spoken fears will bind you. Your hidden hopes may comfort you, but your spoken hopes will crown you. Do not think the law sleeps. The law records every syllable, every decree, every whisper. The universe is an echo chamber. What you cry in the valley returns from the mountains. Speak doubt, and doubt answers. Speak faith, and faith responds. Speak lack, and lack gathers to you. Speak abundance, and abundance rushes in. Orison Swett Marden declared, "We lift ourselves by our thought, we climb upon our vision of ourselves. But I add, you climb most swiftly upon the ladder of your spoken word. You cannot ascend to wealth while muttering poverty. You cannot rise to health while confessing sickness. You cannot enter joy while rehearsing sorrow. Consider the metaphysical giants. Troward, Larson, Millets, Holmes, they all agreed upon this. The word is creative, thought molds, but word decrees. Thought sketches, but word builds. Thought is a seed, but word is the rain that causes it to spring forth. Even Carl Jung, probing the unconscious, discovered the archetype that compels life. Yet he confessed, it is when the archetype is named, spoken, called forth, that it takes flesh. Do you still doubt? Then let us return to Scripture. God did not think light into being. He spoke it. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. He did not brood silently over the void. He uttered the decree, and creation obeyed. And since you are made in His image and likeness, your speech is likewise creative. You are a miniature creator, and your world is the canvas of your decrees. Let us test it. Speak aloud now with me. I am one with the inexhaustible riches of the kingdom. All that the Father hath is mine. Wealth rushes to me by divine right, under grace, in perfect ways. Feel the vibration of those words as they move through you. Feel how your atmosphere shifts, how your heart enlarges, how your faith quickens. You have just made a withdrawal from the bank of heaven. You have written a check upon divine substance, and the law is already preparing the delivery. Do not despise small beginnings. Your decree may not shake mountains at once, but it will shift the soil beneath your feet. Keep speaking, keep declaring, keep planting words of life until the invisible becomes visible. Remember, even the mighty oak began as a whispered seed. Annie Ricks Millets once taught that the word carries within it the vibration of fulfillment. Speak health, and the vibration of health begins to hum through your body. Speak abundance, and the vibration of abundance begins to attract opportunity, supply, and favor. Speak peace, and peace begins to saturate your mind. Your word is a tuning fork, calling your life into harmony with your decree. Yet many will say, "But I have spoken the word, and nothing has happened." But the law requires persistence. The farmer does not cast one seed and demand a harvest the next day. He plants, he waters, he waits, and the earth yields. So with your decree, speak it, water it with faith, guard it against weeds of fear, and in divine right timing, the harvest appears. Remember also the law of non-resistance. Do not wrestle against appearances. If lack seems to glare at you, do not wrestle it with complaint. Speak the opposite. If sickness presses, do not battle it with fear. Speak health. If enemies rise, do not curse them. Speak peace, for resistance feeds the shadow, but the decree of truth dissolves it. Swami Vivekananda thundered that the spoken word of truth is more powerful than armies, for it carries the vibration of the eternal. And I say unto you, let your words be thunderclaps of faith, echoing through the chambers of your life until every wall of Jericho falls flat. Napoleon Hill told the world that every fortune begins with a burning desire and a definite purpose. I tell you, every fortune begins with a burning word, spoken with conviction. Your decree is your purpose given sound. Your declaration is your desire clothed in substance. Speak it daily, hourly, unceasingly, until your whole being vibrates with its reality. For the word you speak in secret shall shout itself from the rooftops. The word you whisper in prayer shall one day roar in manifestation. The word you utter in trembling faith shall become the fortress of your destiny. Beloved, you are not waiting for wealth. Wealth is waiting for your word. You are not chasing success. Success is straining at the leash, waiting for your decree. You are not begging health. Health is your birthright, waiting for your command. Say the word once, with faith, in the sanctuary of your soul, and watch heaven's storehouse swing open. For I have seen it. I have lived it. I have spoken words of plenty in seasons of lack, and abundance has come. I have declared health in the face of sickness, and healing has answered. I have spoken peace into storms, and storms have stilled. This is not theory, this is law. And now the question remains, what word will you speak? For even now as you listen, the universe bends its ear to your lips, waiting to obey your decree. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, and vision is the eye of faith, the divine imagination that sees what the world cannot. Together, they are the twin wings upon which the soul ascends. Without faith, the word is but sound. Without vision, the decree is but echo. But when faith and vision clasp hands, the spoken word becomes flesh, and the invisible bows into form. Beloved, do you know why so many speak the word and see nothing? It is because they speak with lips but deny with eyes. They utter prosperity, but still behold poverty. They declare healing, but still gaze upon disease. They cry liberty, but still picture chains. Their lips are bold, but their imagination is timid. And the law answers not only what you say, but what you see. Scripture declares, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. But I tell you, as a man seeth in his inner visions, so shall it be. You cannot dwell upon images of lack and expect abundance to obey your decree. You cannot picture yourself defeated and expect victory to march at your command. You cannot imagine the grave and expect resurrection life. Vision is the womb of manifestation. Faith is the seed, but vision is the soil in which the seed is nourished. Every great soul who has shifted history first saw with the eye of spirit what the world called impossible. Think of the Hebrew children wandering in the wilderness. 10 spies returned with a vision of giants and walls, and their words of fear condemned a generation. But 2 spies, Joshua and Caleb, returned with a vision of grapes and promise, and their words of faith opened the land. Do you see, beloved? Vision magnifies what faith decrees. Thomas Troward, the metaphysician, declared that the creative process begins with the imagination, for what is pictured persistently will in time take form. And I say unto you, vision is prophecy. To hold the vision of wealth is to prophesy your prosperity. To hold the vision of health is to prophesy your vitality. To hold the vision of success is to prophesy your triumph. Consider Walt Disney, who walked empty lots and swampland, yet saw kingdoms of laughter. He spoke to bankers of castles and parades when all they saw was mud. They called him foolish, but his vision was relentless. Today, millions walk through the cities of his imagination. His faith spoke, but his vision sustained the word until it took form. Andrew Carnegie, the boy in rags, did not see himself polishing shoes forever. He held a vision of factories, of steel bending to his dream. He declared it, and the world bowed. Thomas Edison, surrounded by broken filaments and mocking voices, saw light. He held the vision of a world without darkness. His lips decreed, his hands labored, and at last the vision broke forth into manifestation. Vision is the divine picture gallery of the soul. The spirit paints upon its canvas, and faith supplies the colors. Your word is the brush that fixes the picture in form. You must guard your vision as a king guards his throne, for the enemy of vision is fear, and the enemy of faith is doubt. Fear paints shadows upon your inner canvas, and doubt smears the colors of your decree. Remember the blind man who cried out to Jesus. What wilt thou that I should do unto thee? The master asked. And the blind man answered, Lord, that I might receive my sight. He named the vision, he spoke the word, and his eyes were opened. Faith spoke, but vision determined the miracle. Orison Swett Marden wrote, all men who have achieved great things have been dreamers. But I say unto you, the dreamer who dares to speak his dream becomes the doer. For the vision held in silence is but a shadow, but the vision decreed aloud is a command to the universe. Your imagination is holy ground. Do not defile it with pictures of failure. Do not darken it with images of poverty. Do not stain it with visions of sickness. Fill it with the beauty of your desire fulfilled. Picture yourself walking in health, speaking in abundance, dwelling in peace. Let every detail be vivid. Then declare it with your word, and heaven shall conspire to make it so. Ella Wheeler. Wilcox once wrote, "There is no chance, no destiny, no fate, that can hinder or control the firm resolve of a determined soul. Yet I add, there is no wall, no prison, no chain that can withstand the decree of a faith-filled word sustained by unwavering vision." When fear whispers, "It is impossible," let faith thunder, "With God all things are possible." When doubt mocks, "It is too late," let vision reply, "I see the harvest already ripe." When circumstances sneer, "You are too weak," let your word declare, "The joy of the Lord is my strength." And for faith sees beyond appearances, and vision pierces the veil. Gurdjieff taught that man is asleep until he awakens to his own creative power. And I say, many walk in a dream of fear because they have not awakened to the dream of faith. But once you awaken vision, once you open the inner eye, the world cannot enslave you, for you live by the unseen, and the unseen shall one day be seen. Beloved, never forget, faith is not hoping, faith is knowing, faith is not begging, faith is decreeing, faith is not waiting for evidence, faith is the evidence, and vision is not fantasy, vision is reality unseen. When faith and vision unite, the word becomes law, and law becomes life. So I ask you, what do you see when you close your eyes? Do you see chains or crowns? Do you see emptiness or fullness? Do you see loss or gain? For what you see, you shall decree, and what you decree, you shall become. Speak with me now. I see myself walking in abundance. I see myself clothed in health. I see myself surrounded by opportunities, guided by wisdom, guarded by angels, supplied by heaven. My vision is clear, my faith is strong, and my word shall not return void. Feel how the atmosphere bends to your decree. Feel how heaven nods in agreement. Feel how faith surges when vision is vivid. For this is the secret. The clearer the vision, the swifter the manifestation. Napoleon Hill told us that desire backed by faith is the starting point of all riches. I tell you, vision backed by faith is the finishing point of all manifestation. Desire stirs the soul, but vision sustains the decree until it is born. And so, beloved seeker, guard your vision. Feed it daily with the bread of faith. Clothe it with your spoken word. Protect it from the vultures of fear and the thieves of doubt. For your vision is your covenant with destiny, and your word is the signature upon the covenant. Together, thus, A shall deliver the wealth, the health, the joy, the peace that are already yours by divine right. Now I tell you this eternal truth, say it once in the sanctuary of faith, with the eyes of vision wide open, and watch wealth rush in. For the law cannot be broken. The decree of faith and vision shall stand when the heavens pass away. Beloved, the word without action is like a seed cast upon stone. Faith without movement is but a shadow of faith. Vision without alignment is but a dream that fades with the dawn. For the law is complete only when the word is spoken, faith is held, vision is clear, and action is aligned with divine right order. Right action is not struggle. Right action is not frantic striving, nor weary toil under the lash of fear. Right action is the effortless step taken under the guidance of spirit, the deed born from the decree. For when you speak the word in faith and hold the vision unwavering, the spirit whispers the next step. To obey that whisper is right action. Consider Noah, who built the ark when no cloud had darkened the sky. His action looked foolish to men, but it was aligned with God. Consider Abraham, who journeyed from his homeland, not knowing whither he went, but trusting the vision of promise. His action looked uncertain, but it was right. Consider the widow of Zarephath, who baked her last cake for the prophet Elijah. Her action looked reckless, but it opened the door to unending supply. So it is with you. When you decree abundance, hold the vision of plenty, and then obey the small whisper. That phone call, that step, that offering, that act of forgiveness. You align yourself with the river of supply. Struggle dams the river, obedience releases it. Andrew Carnegie once said that his secret was surrounding himself with men of greater ability and then acting boldly upon opportunity. His words were a decree, his vision was vast, but his fortune flowed because his actions aligned with his vision. He did not sit idle, he moved. When the Spirit whispered now, Thomas Edison, after 1,000 failures, did not lay down his tools. He held the vision of light and acted again and again until the decree took flesh. Walt Disney mortgaged his future, acted in faith when bankers laughed, and built the castles of his dreams. Their faith spoke, their vision burned, but their actions sealed the covenant. Right action is always guided by intuition. Intuition is the still, small voice of spirit within. It is the divine compass that knows the way through wilderness. It is the whisper that says, turn here, wait now, speak there, give this, release that. To ignore intuition is to row against the tide. To obey intuition is to be carried by the current of grace. Dr. Frank Crane once wrote that the secret of success lies in doing the common thing uncommonly well. But I add, the secret of demonstration lies in doing the spirit-whispered thing in divine right timing. For it is not the multitude of deeds that brings manifestation, but the obedience to the one deed that is aligned. Right action is often simple. It may be to forgive an enemy, to release resentment, to speak a kind word, to sow a seed of generosity, to step out in boldness, to remain silent when provoked, to write a letter, to accept an invitation, to decline an enticement. Small hinges swing great doors. The obedience of today may open the treasure house of tomorrow. Remember, beloved, you are not to toil in sweat and fear. You are to labor in joy and rest. For Scripture says, my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. The burden of fear is heavy, the yoke of doubt is crushing. But the step of faith, aligned with the whisper of spirit, is light as the flight of a bird. Vision without action becomes fantasy. Action without vision becomes frenzy. But vision married to action becomes demonstration. Faith gives birth. Vision sustains. Action delivers. It is the holy trinity of manifestation. Christian D. Larson declared, the world belongs to him who is determined to rise. Yet I tell you, the world belongs to him who rises in obedience to the divine whisper. For determination alone may exhaust you, but obedience shall exalt you. Look at Joseph, cast into the pit by his brethren. His word was the vision of the dream God gave him. His faith held through betrayal, slavery, and prison. But when the call came to stand before Pharaoh, Joseph acted. He interpreted the dream, offered wisdom, and in a moment, chains fell, and a crown was placed upon his head. Word, vision, faith, and action aligned, and destiny was fulfilled. Ella Wheeler Wilcox wrote, there is no chance, no destiny, no fate that can circumvent or hinder or control the firm resolve of a determined soul. Yet I say, there is no lack, no sickness, no enemy that can withstand the obedience of a soul aligned with right action. How do you know an action is right? Peace attends it, joy confirms it, grace accompanies it. It may demand courage, but it never breeds confusion. It may require boldness, but it never breeds despair. Right action always carries the fragrance of spirit. Carl Jung studied the unconscious and discovered synchronicity, those divine coincidences that align when one follows the inner promptings. But long before psychology named it, prophets lived it. For when man aligns his actions with spirit, heaven orchestrates circumstances in perfect harmony. What the world calls coincidence is but the fingerprint of God upon your obedience. Swami Vivekananda said that the awakened soul sees work not as toil, but as worship, and I tell you, right action is worship. Every obedient step is an altar, every faithful deed is a prayer, every act aligned with spirit is incense rising before the throne of God. Right action demands non-resistance. When doors close, do not batter them, wait for another shall open. When paths are blocked, do not curse them. Pause, for a higher way is unfolding. To act in resistance is to waste energy. To act in alignment is to conserve power and multiply results. Napoleon Hill declared that opportunity often comes disguised as temporary defeat. I say, opportunity often comes disguised as the still whisper of intuition, waiting for the obedient step. Many miss it because they expect trumpets, but spirit speaks in silence. Many ignore it because it looks small, but the mustard seed grows into a tree. Beloved, say this now with me. I move only in divine right action. I act at the right time, in the right way, with the right people, under grace and in perfect ways. My steps are ordered of the Lord, and I cannot miss my good. Feel the power of that decree. It sets your feet upon the path of alignment. It clears confusion. It draws opportunity. It silences fear. For the law is this: when the word is spoken in faith, when the vision is clear, when the action is aligned, nothing can withhold your good. Not man, not circumstance, not time. Heaven itself rushes to fulfill the covenant. Therefore, do not delay. When Spirit whispers, move. When Spirit restrains, wait. When Spirit says give, release freely. When Spirit says receive, open wide. This is the rhythm of abundance, the dance of demonstration, the secret of manifestation. Beloved, your destiny is not built in a day, but in daily obedience. One word, one vision, one act, repeated and aligned, builds empires. The pyramids were laid stone by stone. Cathedrals rose brick by brick. So too shall your demonstration rise step by step, decree by decree, action by action, until you stand in the fullness of the promise. And I tell you again, say this once in the sanctuary of faith, align your vision, move in right action, and watch wealth rush in like a river released. For the law cannot fail, and the obedient soul cannot be denied. Beloved, there is a rhythm to the universe, a cadence to creation, a divine clock that never errs. The stars keep their appointed courses, the tide obeys its hidden calendar. The seasons turn with precision, and not a sparrow falls without the Father's knowing. So it is with your destiny. Your good is never late, your miracle is never lost. It appears in divine right timing, not a moment too soon, not a heartbeat too late. The impatience of man is the enemy of faith. Many speak the word, hold the vision, act in obedience, and then stumble at the waiting. They pluck the bud before it flowers. They dig up the seed before it roots. They rush the harvest before it ripens. And when results seem delayed, they declare the law untrue. But the law cannot lie. It is the heart that grows weary that falters, not the promise. Consider Joseph, who dreamed of rulership as a boy. The word was spoken, the vision was clear, yet years passed in pits and prisons. But when the divine clock struck the appointed hour, Pharaoh summoned him, and the dream came true in a single day. Divine timing turned chains into a crown. Consider Moses, called to deliver Israel. 40 years he walked in wilderness, tending sheep, before the burning bush spoke. The word was true, the vision sure, but the hour was hidden, and when the hour came, the sea parted, and a nation was set free. Even our Lord, who was the Word made flesh, waited 30 years in obscurity before he spoke with power. At Cana, he said to his mother, "Mine hour is not yet come." For he knew the law of timing. To act before the hour is presumption, to act after the hour is disobedience, to act in the hour is power. So it is with you. Speak the word in faith, hold the vision steadfast, move in right action, and then rest in divine timing. Do not wrestle the hour, do not chase the promise. The law is never hurried, never delayed. Your decree is already established in the invisible. It awaits only the perfect hour to break into visibility. Napoleon Hill said, "Patience, persistence and perspiration make an unbeatable combination for success." Yet I add, patience is not passive waiting, but active trust. Persistence is not stubborn struggle, but unwavering faith. Perspiration is not frantic toil, but the sweat of joyful obedience. Together they keep you aligned until the hour strikes. Non-resistance is the twin of divine timing. Resistance is rebellion against the hour. Non-resistance is trust in the plan. When circumstances rise against you, do not resist with anger, for you feed the very thing you oppose. When delays appear, do not curse them, for they are often guardians of your good. When enemies strike, do not retaliate in fear, for resistance multiplies conflict. Instead, bless, release, trust. Jesus declared, "Resist not evil." Why? Because resistance is faith in the power of evil. Non-resistance is faith in the supremacy of God. When you meet opposition with non-resistance, you dissolve its hold. You pass through walls as if they were air. You turn curses into blessings, defeats into victories, delays into accelerations. Thomas Troward wrote that the spirit of life is inherently affirmative, never opposing, never resisting, always affirming. To resist is to fight shadows. To affirm is to call forth substance. Declare abundance instead of resisting lack. Declare health instead of resisting sickness. Declare peace instead of resisting strife. Non-resistance is not weakness, it is mastery. Think of water. Strike it, and it yields, yet it wears down rock. Block it, and it flows around, yet it reaches the sea. Water conquers by yielding. So too the soul that practices non-resistance. Yield, but do not yield your word. Bend, but do not break your vision. Flow, but never forsake your decree. For the non-resistant soul rides the current of divine timing and arrives at destiny without struggle. Carl Jung observed that what we resist persists. And I tell you, what you non-resist dissolves. Speak the word, hold the vision, act in alignment, and then release resistance. Say, I rest in divine right timing. I do not strive. I do not chase. I do not fear. My good comes swiftly, easily, under grace, in perfect ways. Ella Wheeler Wilcox once wrote, "It is easy enough to be pleasant when life flows by like a song, but the man worthwhile is the one who will smile when everything goes dead wrong." That is the spirit of non-resistance. To smile in delay, to trust in waiting, to rest in the hour. Gurdjieff taught that the man who awakens sees time differently, not as a tyrant, but as a servant. I tell you, divine timing is not against you. It is for you. The delay is not denial, it is preparation. The waiting is not punishment, it is protection. The pause is not loss, it is orchestration. Beloved, wealth may not appear the moment you speak, but it is already dispatched. Health may not spring instantly, but it is already germinating. Peace may not reign at once, but it is already seeded. Trust the law. Trust the timing. Trust the silence. And now I ask you, will you rest in the rhythm of spirit, or will you rage against the clock? Will you yield to the law, or will you wrestle shadows? The choice is yours. But I tell you this, the soul that speaks the word, holds the vision, acts in alignment, and rests in divine timing shall never be denied. Say with me now, I am Ali, Gand with divine right timing. I resist nothing, I fear nothing, I wait with joy, I move in peace. My good cannot be lost, my supply cannot be stolen, my destiny cannot be delayed. All that is mine comes to me swiftly, surely, under grace, in perfect ways. Feel the release as you decree it. The tension melts, the fear dissolves, the striving ceases. You are now in rhythm with the heartbeat of the universe, and in that rhythm, wealth rushes in. Beloved seeker of truth, if these words have quickened your faith, if this revelation has lifted your vision, if you feel the river of spirit stirring in your soul, then do not keep this light hidden. Let your lamp shine, share this word, declare it to others, and I invite you now, subscribe to this channel that you may walk with me in further revelations. Like this video, that others may be drawn into the circle of truth, and comment with your decree, that heaven itself may echo your words. For as you sow, so shall you reap. Sow faith into this very act, and faith shall return multiplied. For I tell you again, say this once in the sanctuary of faith, rest in the rhythm of divine timing, walk in the peace of non-resistance, and watch wealth rush in like rivers of glory. For the law is sure, and the word cannot fail. Beloved, manifestation is not a miracle reserved for prophets of old, it is the natural conclusion of the law. Just as dawn follows night and harvest follows seed, so manifestation follows decree. The word spoken in faith, held by vision, acted upon in alignment, and rested in through divine timing must one day appear. For the law cannot fail, and the promise cannot lie. Manifestation is not the caprice of fortune, it is the mathematics of spirit. 2 and 2 are 4, whether whispered in secret or thundered from rooftops. Likewise, the decree of truth plus the persistence of faith, plus the alignment of action, plus the rest of timing equals manifestation. This is the divine equation, as sure as gravity, as faithful as sunrise. Consider the great cloud of witnesses. Edison held the vision of light and labored in obedience. Manifestation was the glowing filament. Carnegie decreed wealth, saw steel, acted boldly, and in time his vision was flesh. Disney spoke castles into swamps, decreed laughter into ridicule, and one day the laughter filled kingdoms. Their lives are monuments to the law of manifestation, and scripture is filled with the same witness. Abraham was promised a son, years passed, doubts whispered, but when the hour came, Isaac was born. The Israelites decreed freedom, held the vision of Canaan, acted in obedience, and one day walked into a land flowing with milk and honey. The disciples spoke healing, held faith in Christ, stretched forth hands, and the lame walked, the blind saw, the lepers were cleansed, word became flesh, promise became proof. Manifestation is the seal of heaven upon your decree. It is the invisible made visible, the unseen clothed in form. Yet many falter here, for they expect thunder when heaven moves like dew. They expect fireworks when spirit whispers like dawn. Do not miss your manifestation because it comes gently. The seed does not shout when it breaks the soil, it simply rises. Your manifestation may appear as a phone call, a letter, a meeting, an idea, an open door, a whisper, a sudden peace, an unexpected check, a new strength, a reconciled friend. Do not despise the small cloud, for it is the herald of rain. Do not dismiss the still whisper, for it is the trumpet of heaven. Ella Wheeler Wilcox wrote, "There is no failure except in no longer trying. I tell you, there is no failure except in ceasing to decree. For the word must fulfill itself. You may delay it by doubt, hinder it by fear, postpone it by resistance. But if you return to faith, the law resumes, and manifestation appears. Do not think manifestation is only gold and silver. True manifestation is wholeness, to speak abundance and receive not only money but peace of mind. This is manifestation. To speak health and receive not only strength but joy. This is manifestation. To speak love and receive not only companionship but harmony. This is manifestation. For the law always delivers more than you decree. Napoleon Hill said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But I say, whatever the soul can decree and persist in faith, it must receive. For your decree is the signature, and manifestation is the delivery." Heaven never loses the package. Remember, beloved, that manifestation comes under grace, in perfect ways. Do not dictate the channel. Do not demand the method. The law is infinite in resource. Your decree may be wealth, but the form may surprise you. Your decree may be healing, but the channel may astonish you. Do not limit the infinite with your finite plan. Speak the word, hold the vision, take aligned action, rest in timing, release resistance, and let manifestation take the form Spirit chooses. Carl Jung taught that symbols in the unconscious rise into consciousness and shape life. So too your decree, spoken into the invisible, rises into the visible and shapes circumstance. The world is but the shadow of your inner decree. Change the decree, and the shadow must change. Swami Vivekananda said, "All power is within you. You can do anything and everything. And I tell you, all manifestation is already within your decree. You need only persist until the invisible bows." Beloved, manifestation is not the end of the journey, it is the crown. But even as crowns are given, the king must speak again. For life is an eternal unfolding. You decree today, you manifest tomorrow, and you decree anew. The river of spirit never ceases. It is ever creating, ever flowing, ever manifesting. So I ask you now, what crown will you wear? The crown of abundance or the chains of lack? The crown of health or the yoke of sickness? The crown of joy or the cloak of sorrow? The crown of peace or the storm of strife? For the law waits only upon your decree. Say with me, I manifest wealth now. I manifest health now. I manifest peace now. I manifest joy now. I manifest divine right companionship now. All that is mine by divine right appears now, swiftly, easily, under grace, in perfect ways. Feel it as more than words. Feel it as law. Feel it as reality. For in that decree lies the seed of your harvest. And when manifestation appears, give thanks. Gratitude seals the harvest and multiplies the seed. Give thanks in advance, for thanksgiving is faith in action. Give thanks in the waiting, for gratitude is proof of trust. Give thanks in the receiving, for gratitude is the key that opens new doors. Beloved, I have walked this path. I have spoken the word, seen the vision, taken the steps, waited in timing, yielded in non-resistance, and watched manifestation rush in like rivers from hidden mountains. I testify, the law is true, the word works, the promise stands. And so I leave you with this eternal command. Guard your lips, for they are the gates of creation. Guard your vision, for it is the womb of manifestation. Guard your steps, for they are the path of destiny. Guard your trust, for it is the anchor of timing. Guard your peace, for it is the secret of non-resistance. And guard your gratitude, for it is the crown of manifestation. Say this once in the sanctuary of faith, and wealth shall rush in. Say it once, and health shall quicken. Say it once, and peace shall reign. Say it once, and joy shall overflow. For the word is eternal, the law unbreakable, and your decree unstoppable. Beloved soul, the kingdom is within you, the treasury is open, the law is waiting. Speak the word, and watch your world change.